Hello everyone, a very good afternoon. I hope everyone is fit and fine, safe and healthy as always. Good afternoon, Vaini. Good afternoon, Shavya, Deepak, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. Good afternoon, Santosh. Uh, Good afternoon, Vijay. Uh, Again, same instruction. Good afternoon, Sanvi. I've said good afternoon to everyone. I might not be able to wish each and everyone personally. As always, I'll just repeat, do not start your video. If you have any doubts, queries, any answers, please, I have logged in by, good afternoon, Anjali. I have logged in by two IDs. Please send you a chat on the ID called Astic. It's my iPad ID and it's unmuted, it's muted and it does not share any video. So send your messages over there. Let us begin today's class. And as always, good afternoon, Niharika. And as always, we'll start our class with a short recap. Now, before going into the recap, I had posted one more DPP together with the solutions of the DPP number one. Have you all seen it? Good afternoon, Letty. Have you all seen the DPPs, the solution and the new DPP that I had sent you? Yes, Niharika says yes. And as I said, that the question in my DPP might be tougher than the question in the DPP of previous year advanced question, Shravya. Do you think it was the case? My DPP question were tougher and the JE questions were simpler. Did you find it that way or the other way around? The JE question was simpler compared to the DPP? Yes, Hanak says yes. I hope everyone has gone through this. What I mean to say is the level is almost same. In fact, you will find DPP questions at a higher level. And as I always said, 30% questions, even if you can do 30% of the questions from the DPP, 30% from the DPP, because the DPP that I'm sending to you right now, these are the DPPs meant for students who have knowledge of 12 syllabus as well. So you will find terms which you don't know right now. That is why you might not be able to attempt all questions. Don't worry. Everything is fine. You are doing fine. Trust me. 30% questions of DPP and 40% questions from the solved examples is what you should be aiming at. 40% of the solved examples. I hope you know what solved examples I am talking about. I've already shared a PDF. I'll again share it today with the solved examples. Just do them and you are good enough. Now coming on to the recap, we were doing the uses of dimensions. We had done two uses in the first class and we had done third and fourth use, I think. Third use was, can anyone recollect what was the third and the fourth use? Were we doing third use or the fourth one? Which one? The first one was to change, Shabria says four. The first one was, let me recollect, first one was, first use of dimension analysis was to change units. The second one was, what was the second one? Use of dimension analysis, conversion of units. Yes, Chaturya. First one was conversion of units. Second was to check the correctness of an equation. Yes, Niharika. Third one was to find unknown quantities, to find the dimension of unknown quantities, to find dimensions of unknown quantities. That was the third one. We did some questions on this as well. And then we were on to the fourth one, which was to get an empirical formula. If my memory serves me correct, to get an empirical formula was our last topic. Yes, empirical formula was our last topic. And I asked you, what do you mean by an empirical formula? Someone had a knowledge. Some of you had knowledge about this. Some of you did not know. Let us move ahead and see how we can get the empirical formula of quantities using units and dimension. Our class begins now. So I had given you a question that we'll do it in we do it by an example. Now what is the example that I am setting here? For this example, this question we have done previously also. We'll just set it as an example. So the example was, I have conducted, I am a scientist. I'm not. I guess you guys can become scientists. So you are a scientist and you have conducted some experiments on force on a particle which is moving in a circular path, that is known as centripetal force. So you have found out that force of a particle, centripetal force, it depends on number one, mass, number two, velocity, number three, radius. So with experimentation, you have found out this force depends on these three quantities. Can you derive a formula for force? Find a formula for force. Find a formula for F. Can you derive a formula for F? I must recollect and tell you that we already know the answer. Yes, Niharika, we already know the answer. The answer is mv squared by r. But the question here is, even if we don't know the answer, can we derive a formula for force? That is the question. Now, you might not be having an idea of how to go about this question. Don't worry. Listen to me very carefully. We'll do it in simple steps. Let us start how we are going to solve a question of this nature. So basically, we have to find a formula for force. F is equal to, we'll write F is equal to some constant K. Now this constant K will be a numerical constant. What do you mean by numerical constant? It does not have any dimension, beta. It is only a number. It is only a number. The limitation of dimensional analysis is that we cannot find the value of this number. This number, we cannot find the value. That is the only limitation. Let us keep that limitation here and let us go about what lies ahead. We cannot find the value of this K. This K can only be found out by more experimentation on force. As you grow older, you will be able to understand how we can get the value of K. Right now, I'm not concerned about K. I'm concerned about other things which are appearing in the equation. So I've written F is equal to K multiplied by M, which is mass raised to the power A. Now this A is unknown. We have to get the value of A. Please remember, beta. Important point. Please remember. Now the second term that the force depends on is velocity. So I write velocity के लिए V raised to the power B. Again, this B is an unknown term which we need to find out. The third term is radius R. So I write R for the radius. And then I write R raised to the power C. So now my question reduces to a very simple formula or a very simple question. Find out the value of, my question is now simple. Find out the value of what? Anyone? What's my question now? What should I find now? No one knows? What should I find now? Yes, Chaturdev, I should find out A, B, and C. And as I already told you, we cannot get the value of K. Yes, Anak, you are correct. We have to get the value of A, B, and C. I'll give you 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Yes, Deepak, I'll give you 10 seconds. Anyone can give me a hint. How will I get the value of A, B, and C? Come on. Can anyone give me a hint? How will I get the value of A, B, and C? I'm looking for some help. How will I get the value of A, B, C? That is my entire question now. By their units, by their dimensions. Yes. By their units, by their dimensions. This entire chapter is about dimensions. Let us see how I can get the value of A, B, and C. Look carefully, beta. Very carefully. Look at the steps. Simplest steps. Great answer. F. Now let us write the dimensions of F. M, L, T minus 2 is the dimensions of F. Everybody knows it. Now this K does not have any dimension. That's why I cannot get the value of K. So leave apart K. Let us write the dimensions of mass. The dimension of mass is capital M, and capital M is raised to the power of A. We repeat the same step for V, velocity. Everyone knows the dimensions of velocity. L, T raised to the power minus 1. And this entire thing is raised to the power of B. Radius R. R has a dimension of L. And this is raised to the power of C. So I've written all the dimensions and I've raised them to their powers. What I need to do now? Now I'll find a term of M here and I'll find similar terms of M on the other side. Similarly for L, I will find some L on the left hand side and I'll find some L on the right hand side. Similarly for T, I'll find some T on the left hand side and I'll find some T on the right hand side. What I need to do is equate the coefficients of M, L, and T. I need to equate the coefficients of M, L, and T. Now, what is the coefficient of M? On the left hand side, what is the coefficient of M? Anyone can tell me that? What is the coefficient of M on the left hand side? It's 1. Correct. Now tell me, what is the coefficient of M on the right hand side? Here is M raised to the power A. There is no other coefficient of M. So I get the value of M, the coefficient that is A becomes equal to 1. Am I clear with this? How did I do it? I've equated the coefficient of M. What should I do next? I should equate the coefficient of the next term, next dimension, which is L. Look at the left hand side. What is the dimension or coefficient of L? 1. Very good, Tanu. 1. Now look at the right hand side. There is one L here and one L here. This L is raised to the power B. This L is raised to the power C. So what is the coefficient of L on the right hand side? 1 L is raised to the power B. 1 L is raised to the power C. Both are multiplied, Manasa, Santosh, both are multiplied. L raised to the power B multiplied by L raised to the power C. Don't tell me this is equal to L raised to the power BC. This is absolutely wrong. It will be equal to L raised to the power B plus C. Are you getting my point? On the left hand side, I had L key coefficient as 1. On the right hand side, I had L raised to the power B and L raised to the power C. Both were multiplied. When you multiply, the coefficient does not get multiplied, they get added. So 1 will be equal to B plus C. Am I clear with this? I cannot get the value of B and C because there is only one equation. So I have to go to the third term. Third term here is T for time. Look at the coefficient of time on the left hand side. That is equal to -2. I hope everyone can see this. -2 here. Then look for the coefficient of T on the right hand side. It is here. Its coefficient is B. It is raised to the power -1. So -1 will get multiplied by B. So it will be equal to -B. Are we clear with this concept of how I got the value of T? The coefficients. On the left hand side, I had -2. On the right hand side, I had -b. So -2 is equal to -b. That implies b is equal to 2. Is everyone with me on this? Everyone understands this? Yes, Santosh is yes. Can I have some raised hands that we understand, sir? Raised hand or messages or what? 2, 3, 4, 5. Only four people, 8, 10. Only 10 people. I'll repeat again. I need more raised hands. The first step was to equate the coefficients of m. On the left hand side a, on the right hand side, on the left hand side 1, on the right hand side a becomes equal to 1. Second step was to calculate or to equate the coefficients of L. On the left hand side 1, on the right hand side b plus c. So b becomes equal, and then third step was to equate the coefficients of time. On the left hand side -2, on the right hand side -b becomes equal to 2. When I put the value of b is equal to 2 from here into this equation, I'll get the value of c. What will be the value of c? Put the value of b from here into this equation. What is the value of c? MV Reddy says 1, Tanushri says 3, all are wrong. Hanak says -1, -1 is correct. So C is equal to -1. C is equal to -1. How did I get? How did I get this? It's a simple equation. B key value is 2. This entire thing is equal to 1. So what is the value of C? I hope you can get it. Do not make stupid mistakes. Someone made a mistake and got the value of C as 1. Yes, substitute the value of B in B plus C. Put the value of B as 2. You'll get the value of C as -1. So basically what I got, A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to -1. Now I will put the values of A, B, and C in the final equation here. So I've drawn a line here. So why did I write K? F is equal to K. I cannot get the value of K multiplied by M raised to the power A. A is 1, so M raised to the power 1 is M into V raised to the power B. B ka value is 2, so V squared raised to the power 2. R ka power hai C, and C is -1, so R raised to the power -1. You can write it like this, or you can write it like this: K M V squared by R. That becomes your final answer. Remember, you cannot get the value of K. To get the value of K, you must do more experiments, find out force for different masses, for different velocities, for different radius, and then you can get the value of K. When that thing is done experimentally by a scientist, we found that the value of K comes out to be 1. So ultimately, your force becomes mv squared by r. From dimensions, we cannot find the value of K. So we leave it. We just write it as K. The value of K comes out to be 1. So the formula for force becomes mv squared by r. Dimension analysis cannot get us the real formula. So the formula arrived from dimension analysis is F is equal to K mv squared by r. Are you getting me? What are we getting from dimension analysis, and what is the actual formula? K ka factor, K ka term, we cannot find the value. Do we understand what we have done? Shall we move ahead to the next question? You have to do all the questions in a similar way, Hanak. and everyone, and Vahini, whosoever is sending messages. Some people have raised hand. I'll just lower them. I hope everyone has understand it. Tanushri, first step, we have found out, we have written the formula for force in this form. Then we have written the dimensions of force, dimensions of M, dimensions of V, and dimensions of R. Raise them to the powers of A, B, and C. Then we have equated the coefficients of A, B, and C, which is M, L, and T. And then we have arrived at the results. Am I clear? Why did you take K in the formula? Because we cannot find out the value of K and it cannot be derived. There must be some constant K, which is a number. We cannot derive that number by dimension analysis. We have to also always assume that there will be a number there somewhere, but we cannot find the value of that number. Shall we move ahead with the next question on this? And everyone will try. Yes, sir, says Tanu. I move ahead and I write question number 2. And the question number 2 is time period. Time period is simply time. Time period of a pendulum. You must have heard about pendulum. Time period of a pendulum depends on number 1, mass. Number 2, length of the pendulum. And number 3, G. What is this G? Anyone, what is this G? This G is known as acceleration due to gravity. Have you heard this term? Acceleration due to gravity. And it is nothing but acceleration. We have already discussed it. Yes, it has dimensions of acceleration only. This is a simple acceleration ka dimension. Can you derive a formula for time period with the given information? Time period will have dimensions of time. If you don't understand it, time period has a dimension of time. Mass has a M has a dimension of mass. L has the dimensions of length. G has the dimensions of acceleration. Your time starts now. Can you get me the formula for time period? I'll give you some time to arrive at this result. Get me the time period of simple pendulum. Get me the time period of simple pendulum. So how will you go about it? T is the time period that must be equal to what? Some constant K, which is a number. I don't know the value of this number. Multiplied by M, mass raised to the power A, multiplied by length raised to the power of B, multiplied by G raised to the power of C. So now your question becomes very simple. Find out the value of A, B, and C. Can you get me the answer? I'll wait for some time. Okay. Let me go ahead and help you out. So T is time period. It has the dimensions of T. K dimensions we don't know, so we leave it. M has the dimension of mass, which is capital M, raised to the power of A. L has the dimensions of length, raised to the power of B. Acceleration due to gravity has the dimension of acceleration, L T minus 2 raised to the power of C. Now on this side, we only have T. So mass is raised to the power of 0 and length is also raised to the power of 0. We can write it like this. Doesn't make any difference. What will be the next step? Next step will be equating the coefficients of M, L, and T. Look at M. What is the coefficient of M? On the left hand side, I have 0. There is no M. On the right hand side, I have this A. So my M, the coefficient A becomes 0. Now look at the next dimension, which is L. Look at the dimensions of L on the left hand side. There is no L, so this is 0. Look at the dimension of L on the right hand side. One we have B and then we have C. L raised to the power B multiplied by L raised to the power C. So it becomes L raised to the power B plus C. So 0 is equal to B plus C. Are you getting my point, everyone? 0 is equal to A was M coefficient. Length coefficient is also 0. That is equal to B plus C. Now let us go on the coefficient of time, T. On the left hand side, we have T raised to the power 1. So 1 will be equal to, on the right hand side, we have T raised to the power minus 2 raised to the power C. So it is equal to minus 2C. So यहाँ से I can get CS minus 1 by 2. I get CS minus 1 by 2 from this equation. Where is the equation? Right. Now if I put the value of C here in this equation, I will get the value of BS 1 by 2. Are you getting me, everyone? I got the value of B as 1 by 2. So ultimately my formula will look like this. Time period is equal to K into M. M is raised to the power of A and the value of A is 0. So M raised to the power 0. You don't have to write anything for M. Then we have L, which is raised to the power of B and the value of B is half. So L raised to the power of half. Then we have G, which is raised to the power of C. And we look at the value of C. C ka value is minus half. So it becomes minus root. Now you can write it like this. Or you can just put the powers in the form of square root. And you can write T is equal to K. And I put root over L by G. This is how the time period of a simple pendulum looks like. Am I clear? Am I clear? Now, by experimentation, we have found out the value of this K, which we cannot get by dimension analysis. This formula that we got can be called as empirical formula. Why it is known as empirical formula? Because the value of K is not known. We cannot get the value of K from dimensional analysis. By more experimentation, we can get the value of K. By experimentation, we have found the value of K and it is 2 pi, 2 times pi. So the final formula for time period becomes 2 pi root over L by G. This is the actual formula which cannot be derived by dimension analysis. It has to be derived by experimentation. So the blue one is the empirical formula and the red one is the real formula. 2 pi wala term is K. That's why we use K, because we cannot get the value of that K. Am I clear with this explanation? How I get the empirical formula? Can I have some raised hands? I like raised hands so that I understand that clear. We are on the same page. Yes, we are understanding it. Clear. Good. So Clear, clear. Everyone is clear. Great, 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 great. Let me see the most raise hands. Yes. Okay. So, shall we move ahead, or you want any more example that you want to discuss, or can we move ahead with this? You have understood this thing, or you want one more question on this? One more. Okay, let me see if I can use any questions from your thing. Okay, okay, I'll give you one more. Question number 3. And what is this question number 3? Okay, I can use this one. So I can say that pressure of a gas, you understand the dimension of pressure, right? Pressure of a gas depends on mass of gas molecule. It depends on velocity of gas molecules, and it depends on area of the gas molecule, of the gas cylinder. So the pressure of a gas depends on mass of the molecule, velocity of the molecule, and area of the entire chamber. I hope you know the dimensions of all these things. The question is very simply, derive a formula for pressure of a gas. I hope everyone knows that pressure is force divided by area. We have also derived the dimensions of pressure. I hope you can go about this. So I'm waiting for your answers. Pressure depends on mass, velocity, and area. Anyone who has any doubt, please ask. I have around 150 messages on my chat. I hope I have responded to everyone. Okay, pressure depends on mass, velocity, and area. How would you go about it? Pressure dimension, sir. You have to find it out, sir. I told you force by area is pressure. I gave you the table as well. You must be able to find out the dimension of pressure. P is equal to some constant K, m raised to the power A, velocity raised to the power of B, area. If I write area as A, you might get confused. So I just write S for area. S stands for area. I hope I'm not using A because A and A might create confusion. So S stands for area. V stands for velocity. Wow, Hinduja is there with an answer. mv square by A raised to the power 4, which I have no idea what the dimension is. I'll just check it. Great, if you have got the answer correct. Great. So pressure. And someone was asking me what is the dimension of pressure. Let us derive the dimension of pressure over here. Pressure is force. So force is mLT minus 2 divided by area. Area is L square. So the dimension becomes mL minus 1 T minus 2. This becomes the dimension of pressure. You must remember it better. There are no excuses for not remembering the dimension. I can't excuse you for that. If you don't remember the dimensions. Now let us write the dimensions of pressure here. mL minus 1 T minus 2 should be equal to K does not have any dimension. Mass ka dimension is capital M raised to the power of A. Velocity has the dimension of L T minus 1, which is raised to the power of B. S is area, remember, area is length into breadth. So it will be L squared raised to the power C. I hope you all got to this point. Now the question is simply find out the value of A, B, and C. How are we going to get the value of A, B, and C? We are going to equate the coefficients of mass, length, and time. So the first step will be to equate the coefficients of M. Look at the left hand side. M is alone singular, that means it is equal to 1. So that is equal to, look at the right hand side. M is raised to the power A. There is no M here. So A becomes equal to 1. We got the value of coefficient of A, coefficient of M. Now look at the coefficient of L. On the left hand side, L is raised to the power of -1. So here we have -1. You look at the right hand side, L is raised to the power of B, and L is also raised to the power of 2C. So this becomes B plus 2C. I cannot solve it. So I'll go to the value of T, coefficient of T. On the left hand side, I have T raised to the power of -2. So -2 shall be equal to, on the right hand side, we have minus B. So that gives me B is equal to 2. I've got the value of B. I have got the value of A. That's very nice. Now I'll just put the value of B in this equation. So -1 is equal to 2 plus 2C. Remember, just solve the equation correctly, beta. If you make a mistake, everything goes away. So this implies C ka value will be -3/2. If you made a mistake, please correct it, beta. Yes, Santosh, I think your answer is correct. So the answer is pressure P is equal to K. I cannot get the value of K into M, which is raised to the power of A. A is 1, so M raised to the power 1 is 1. M multiplied by V, which is raised to the power of B, and the value of B is 2. So V square multiplied by area S raised to the power of C, and C is -3/2, -3/2. That should be your empirical formula. I hope everyone has understood what we are trying to do here. Now I'll ask, is there anyone who has not understood? Please raise your hands and ask your doubt. Anyone who has not understood what we have done? Mansa says good afternoon. Beta, say good afternoon in that ID. So I hope we have understood how we use dimension analysis to find the empirical formula. Shall we move on to the next use of this? Or is there anything that you want to ask me now? Okay, there are questions as well in the sheet in your DPP as well. There are questions in the notes as well. You can solve some simple questions. There might be questions where such terms will come that you have not heard about. What is the actual formula, beta? Even I don't know. I just made a question. I just made a question for you to understand. Right? This is just a question. Nothing. There is no actual, because I don't know the value of K. Okay. So now let us take the last step in this units and dimensions chapter, and it is the last use to find units and dimensions of physical quantities, to find the units and dimensions of physical quantities in other system with different fundamental units. Now, the system that we are using, beta, SI, the SI system has 7 fundamental units. We are only dealing with 3. As I told you that we are only concerned by 3 right now. So we are in SI system and we are using only 7 fundamental units. We are only concentrating ourselves on 3. Now we can make any other system which has different fundamental units. And we're only talking about 3 here because we only want to concentrate on mass, length, and time. Okay. So now our system had mass, length, and time as the fundamental units. I have created a new system. I have created a new system in which the fundamental units are, let us say, mass, velocity, and length. I have created a new system which has the fundamental units as mass, velocity, and length. Now, what will be the formula for force or dimension of force in this unit, in this system? Find the dimensions of force. So basically, instead of mass, length, and time, I have mass, length, and velocity as the fundamental units. What will be the dimensional formula of force in this unit, in this system? Yes, that is the question. How do we do it? Well, to do this, we don't have to do anything special. We just do what we were doing in the last slide. We just write force. Yes, MLT minus 2 is the dimension in the original dimension beta. I will try to find out the dimension in the new dimension. So what do I do? How do I go about it? And you will see that the process is exactly same. I will write force equal to, now I will not use K here because I'm only concentrated on finding the dimension. So I'm not finding a formula for force. I'm only finding the dimension. So K does not happen here. So I'll write it as M will be raised to the power of A. Velocity V will be raised to the power of B. And length L will be raised to the power of C. If you see the difference, I've just taken this K off because I'm not finding a formula for force. I'm just finding the dimension of force. Do you understand what I'm saying here? In the previous use, we were trying to find an empirical formula. So we had to use K. Here we are only concentrated on finding the dimension of force. Dimension of force in a new system, not the original system. Dimension of force in a new system is what my concern is. How do I get the dimension of force in this new system? How do I get the dimension of force in this new system? Any ideas? How do I get the dimension of force in this new system? I have to do similar things. Just write the original dimension of force, MLT minus 2 will be equal to, this is the original dimension of force. What is the original dimension of mass? Is capital M raised to the power of A. Original dimension of velocity is LT minus 1 raised to the power of B. Original dimension of length is L raised to the power of C. So as you can see, beta, I am doing the similar thing. I've just taken out K from the previous thing. How do I do it? I equate the coefficients. Coefficient of M on the left hand side, coefficient of M is 1. On the right hand side, coefficient of M is A. So A ka value becomes 1. Are we clear with this point? We are doing exactly same thing. Yes, Chaturya. I don't think C is correct. MV square by L. That's correct, Sunny. So we are doing the same thing without the constant K. because I don't need K here. It's not a formula. It's a dimension of F. So I've equated the dimensions of M. Let us equate the coefficients of L. On the left hand side, it is 1. On the right hand side, it is B plus C. So B plus C. Now let us equate the coefficients of, I made a mistake. I'll just correct it. Oops. Why didn't I erase that one? I don't know why eraser is not working. Why is this eraser not working? Okay, let me take this off. T is the dimension. T on the left hand side has has coefficient of -2, and on the right hand side it has minus B. So B will be equal to 2. A is equal to 1. B is equal to 2. And you put the value of B here, you will get C as -1. Am I clear? Yes. So now I can write force in the new system as mv square by L. This is the new dimensions. Yes, Deepak, mv square by L. This is the new dimension of force in the new system. Are you getting me? Are you getting my point, everyone? So basically, this question is exactly similar to what we did previously. Just the heading has changed. Nothing else has changed. One thing also has changed. We don't need to use K because we are not deriving any formula. We are only getting the dimensions. Can I have some raised hands so that I can see that we have understood? So I'll give one example for you. Everyone has understood. Please, someone ask me a doubt if you have. Please, this is the time to raise your doubts. It's never late to raise a doubt, but the best time is while we are doing it. So if you have any doubts, please come up to me. I'm always ready to clear your doubts. Let us now take a question from your sheet. And which question should I take? Okay, this is problem number 43 from your sheet. Problem number 43 is what I am taking. And this problem is, if velocity force and energy, you must know the dimensions of energy. The dimensions of energy are same as the dimensions of work. Work is force multiplied by displacement. Remember that, very important point. If velocity V, force F, and energy E are taken as fundamental units, I am reading from your sheet. If velocity F, force F, if velocity V, force F, and energy E are taken as fundamental units, find the dimensions of mass. You have to find the dimensions of mass in this new system. To find the dimensions of mass in this new system. To find the dimensions of mass in this new system, you have velocity, force, and energies as the fundamental units. Your velocity, force, and energy as fundamental units. You have to find the dimensions of mass. How will you do it? Mass ka dimension is m. M will be equal to velocity raised to the power of A, force raised to the power of B, energy raised to the power of C. Now you might be confused as to what is the dimensions of energy. The dimensions of energy is same as work, and work is force multiplied by displacement. Displacement is in length. Length is dimension is meter. So this becomes MLT minus 2 multiplied by dimensions of displacement, which is L. So dimensions of energy becomes ML square T minus 2. So this is a small derivation for the dimensions of energy. So let us go ahead. Mass is M. There is no dimensions of L on the left hand side. There is no dimensions of T on the left hand side. So ML0 T0. Dimension of velocity is LT minus 1 raised to the power of A. Forces MLT minus 2 raised to the power of B. And energy is ML square T minus 2 raised to the power of C. I equate coefficients. M ka coefficient. On left hand side we have 1. On right hand side, M ka 1 coefficient is B. M ka 1 coefficient is C. Both are multiplied. So it becomes 1 is equal to B plus C. 1 is equal to B plus C. Then I go on the dimensions of L, coefficients of L. On left hand side we have 0. On right hand side we have L here, A. L here also multiplied by B. L here also multiplied by 2C. So it becomes A plus B plus 2C. Please pay attention, beta. L ka dimension on left hand side is 0. On the right hand side, there is one A here, there is one B here, and 2 times of C here. For time, on the left hand side, we have 0. On the right hand side, we have minus A. Here we have minus 2B. Here we have minus 2C. So now you have 3 equations. You must know how to solve these 3 equations. I am not going to solve it. You must be able to, as I told you, beta, physics. Maths is the language of physics. Now physics, I have got you till here. Once I get those equations, it's a question of maths. So now you have 3 equations. You have to find the value of A, B, and C. And this is what you have to do in maths. So try it at home, solve it. The answers are like this. A is minus 2, B is 0, and C is 1. When you solve these 3 equations, you will get this answer. So your dimensions of M will become V raised to the power minus 2, force raised to the power of 0, and energy raised to the power of 1. Am I clear how I achieved this result? Anyone has any doubts on this? Please come up. Anyone has any doubts on this? Was anyone able to do this question on its own? Clear enough. Okay. As you guys see, beta, always you will have 2 or 3 equations that you may have to solve. Solving part is a part of maths. You must be able to do this. Such type of question may not come in NEET because 3 equations like this may not be good enough, maybe too good enough for NEET. So you may not be able to solve it. Yeah, V minus 2I beta. Santosh, what I see in the book, the answer is V minus 2 in the notes. So these type of questions can only happen in JEE. The questions that we discussed, where you were getting answers very quickly, they were one dimension was coming straight away, one coefficient was coming straight away. You can expect these type of questions in NEET as well as JEE. Am I clear? Anyone has any doubts on this? Yes, Deepak, you have a doubt? No, okay. So that brings us to the last part of this. You have questions in the sheet. You read the questions and solve them. Can you do that for me? There's questions in the sheet which are solved. Go to the sheet. Again, even 40% questions are you, if you are able to do at this stage, it is too good. You should be able to clear the exam. Now, there are some limitations of dimensional analysis. There are some limitations, and now we are going to discuss those limitations of dimensional analysis. Some limitations of dimensional analysis. What dimensional analysis can do and what dimensional analysis cannot do. We have already discussed almost all the limitations. We'll now write it. I'll share this PDF with you. We'll write it in a systematic manner. What are the limitations of dimension analysis? So, the first limitation, if dimensions are given, physical quantities may not be unique. When you're talking about physical quantities, there are some physical quantities which have same dimensions. For example, work, energy. I told you work and energy have the same dimension. One more thing is their torque. Torque also has the same dimensions as work or energy. But as I told you, if something has the same dimension, that does not mean that they are same. Work is not same as energy, and work and energy are not same as torque. Even though they have the same dimensional formula, their dimensional formula is ml square t minus 2. Both are having same dimensional formula, but they are not same. So this is one limitation of dimensional analysis, that there are, yes, energy, yes, Deepak, heat is also energy. It has the same dimension. That does not mean that they are same quantities. So this is limitation number 1 of dimension analysis. We understand this? Give me a thumbs up. You understand this? The first limitation of dimension analysis, that there are too many quantities having similar dimensions, and that's a limitation. We cannot differentiate work from energy, energy from torque by using dimensions, because they have same dimensions but the quantities are different. What is the second limitation of dimension analysis? You remember this constant K which was coming in that empirical equations. There are some units, there are some physical quantities which have no dimensions, which are numbers. Remember this 2 pi? This 2 pi was coming in time period. We derived the formula for time period, but it was empirical. We cannot get the exact formula for time period because it is a number, and the value of number cannot be attained in using dimensional analysis. We can get empirical formula, yes, but we cannot get the exact formula, because exact formula may have constant K which does not have any dimension. Am I clear with this point number 2? That I cannot get the value of numerical constant. Deepak says yes. I hope you have understood this. I'll share this PDF. Don't worry, all the points will be there. You must be making notes. Now, what is point number 3? Very important point. ध्यान से देखो बेटा, please listen to me very carefully. All these small things are going to help you a lot in the exam, in your final exam, JEE or NEET, or your board exams even. Simple points make a large difference. The methods of dimensions cannot be used. Important point, cannot be used to derive relations other than product. Whenever we have derived an empirical formula, it was a product. Remember, we derived the empirical formula of centripetal force. It was a product. We derived a formula for time period, it was K into, यहाँ पे I forgot K into root over L by G. It was a product. You can use dimension analysis for finding out empirical formulas for product. But if it is a sum, look at here, S is equal to UT plus half AT square. We cannot derive it by dimensions. This cannot be derived by dimensions. Am I clear? Or such formula where Y is equal to A sine omega t, we cannot derive it by dimensions. But we can check the dimensional correctness. Whether they are dimensionally correct or not, that can be done. Am I clear? We cannot derive these formulae other than product, but we can check their correctness. Am I clear? Clear, sir. Clear, sir. Okay. Now, the next point is like this. If you have more than 3 physical quantities, for example, if I say force depends on mass, velocity, length, and acceleration. If I give you 4 physical quantities, force depending on 4 physical quantities, I will not be able to solve them because I will only have M ka equation, L ka equation, and T ka equation. I will only have 3 equations, but I will have 4 unknowns, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, 4 unknowns, 3 equations. I can't solve them. Am I clear with this? If I have more than 3 physical quantities in any formula, and I only have 3 dimensions, M, L, and T, I cannot derive that formula using dimensions. That takes us the last of these limitations. If it only depends on 3, but 2 of them have same dimensions, 2 having same dimensions. For example, if I say force depends on mass, velocity, and speed. If I give you this question, force depends on mass, velocity, and speed. Now velocity and speed have the same dimensions. I cannot derive the formula for force from here. Am I clear with this? The fifth one, even if I have 3 dimensions, 3 quantities, but 2 of them have same dimensions, dimensional analysis goes for a ride. That's it. I will end the class over here. In the next class, we'll try to discuss some questions of the DPP. So solve your DPP, the first one, and the JE one. We'll be doing some selective problems. We will not be doing all the problems, some selective problems, which you should be knowing. We'll be doing those problems here. And also, we have seen that we can use any 3 fundamental quantities. I'll send you the PF, Manasa, don't worry. We have seen that we can use 3 fundamental quantities, any 3 quantities as fundamental quantities. In the next class, we will see what should be the properties of these fundamental quantities, and we will be doing the DPPs. I'll be sharing you the solution of that JE wala DPP today. I'll be sharing this PDF with you. I'll be sharing of, yes, I'll post the whiteboard in Telegram. Don't worry, Vijay. And yes, you were reminding me. Okay, I'll save it. I've been reminded. Thanks a lot, everyone. If you have any doubts, I'm here. You can ask me, else we are going to stop this class. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.